Welcome into the Voodoo Podcast. We are back once again for another episode here in July, and a little bit different of an episode, a unique one, I will say. First off, we have two mics in here. That's going to get a little confusing, a little crazy real quick, but this is it, guys. I'm selling out. It's finally happened. We're getting sponsorships here on the podcast. It's going to be all ads, the whole 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours long of the podcast. No, I'm kidding. But we have a very cool potential partner here with the Voodoo Podcast. This is Mike Cassavant of Frankenfuel, a really cool new energy drink that is swooping through the haunt nation right now and the entire haunt industry. So, Mike, welcome to the podcast, and how's it going?
Dude, thanks so much for having me, man. I appreciate it. And it's going great. I actually have my drink right here to to start off the show well.
Heck yeah! Are you going zero sugar? I'll go the regular route.
I go either or, honestly. And then today I worked out this morning, so I usually my off days I usually have sugar, which probably should go the opposite days, but.
I get you. Yeah, when I was at the gym and I was sending you that, I still got to send you over some of that that footage that I took. I did the zero sugar because I'm like, it'll be like my pre-workout where there's little to no sugar in it. And I was like, but I need more. And then this one, the regular one, kept me alive. This if anybody knows me behind the scenes, going to all the broadcasting events and stuff like that this past week, I definitely needed a pick-me-up for sure. And I'm not even a big energy drink guy. It's usually just pre-workout for me, and that's it. But some people were kind of saying that these taste like a Monster without like the bad aftertaste. So what are these flavors that you've got going on in here? And that you have, really?
Of course, yeah. So right now, this is our first like OG flavor. We call it the Franken flavor. Largely because if you think about Frankenstein, he was, pieced together and all these different things to sort of become whole. With this flavor, when we started working on it, we have a formulation specialist that we work with. She's incredible. I mean, she has a PhD in flavor. It's unreal. And so when we initially went to her about like the concept of Frankenfuel and like sort of what the taste we wanted these different variations for a flavor profile, certain notes to ring out than others, back taste, all these things that like I absolutely can't stand about normal energy drinks. I still love Monster. That's probably my favorite of everyone. But everyone kind of says that same thing of like, it kind of tastes like battery acid sometimes. I mean, I get it, but I've drank them for so long that it doesn't even faze me anymore. I just enjoy them still. So I always say if I don't have any Frankenfuel on me and I'm like in a bind somewhere, that's the one I'm going for almost always. But yeah, man, so we released this and pretty much the flavor of it, we always say it comes down to 3 flavors. It's either a sweet tart, a fun dip, or a pixie stick. Those are the main 3 we get like universally throughout the. I'd say the green tends to be a little bit more of a sweet tart, and the purple can zero has a little bit more of a fun dip vibe.
Okay, yeah, that adds up definitely for the green, since I'm drinking right now, and from what I remember of the purple can, yeah.
And the good thing too, man, is like we specifically didn't want to add any like additional things to the drink, meaning like dyes or colors. So what people sometimes don't realize about Frankenfuel, and we're trying to be better with actually advertising this, but so we have 100% USDA organic caffeine. It's gluten-free. There's no artificial colors or dyes, and we have a vitamin B complex in as well. So you kind of get like a nice focus component to it that really adds, I think, the combination of our caffeine source and our vitamin B really hits on a different level. I mean, when we went through the flavor even process on this, man, it was like, I think we went through like 15 different caffeine sources to try to figure out which one we liked the best. And Kelly and I, my fiance, that also co-owner of Frankenfuel, are like, we're just freaks about the end product. So if every little detail matters to us, obviously, like from our packaging designs to the taste to the back taste to even like within an hour, like, is there still something residue? Like what's happening after that? So that's how deep we go with it, man. So, I mean, it's Yeah, I mean, it's where we take it extremely seriously, and we have a lot of fun, and we're completely unhinged and want to go absolutely mental with our marketing. But when it comes to the actual product itself, if you have a shitty product, it's like then you have a shitty product. That's it. And we refuse to ever be one of those type of brands. We will never put our stamp behind something that we wouldn't be drinking or that we wouldn't love to put out to the world. So we're very adamant about that.
Yeah, the first thing I think that when I posted, you had sent me these samples in the mail, and I posted them. The first response I got back, obviously because people can't try them, they're in my video at my house, and I'm going to the gym with them, and
Yeah.
they're mine. Nobody's getting them.
Right.
But the first thing that everybody was able to notice was the artwork on these things,
Yeah.
and these are incredible. I'll put a couple of pictures up here in the video version too. But for all you audio listeners, you got to go and check this out because I mean, even there is a difference between the two.
Yep.
But I was looking at the green can, and there's so much detail. Like it's not. It's crowded, but it's not a bad crowded.
Yeah.
We've talked about, especially on this podcast, a lot of home haunters that have small lawns, right? And they pack a lot into their small lawns. But there are and we love everybody's lawns and stuff like that, but there's some where it's like it looks kind of like Halloween threw up, and then there's others where it's like everything is so minutely detailed on this, and they just took this small space and made it seem so much bigger, and that's what this can does really with this with the logo, because there's so much going on, and then, yes, it is crowded, but it gives for such a nice design on the outside.
So, dude, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's all. And that's actually all done by design because, we kind of looked at packaging and branding in a very different way than maybe other brands because we were like, all right, what's our square feet how many inches do we have to work with? Okay, great. So we have our staple stuff with our Frankenfuel logo, freshly stocked energy. That stuff. That's like all things that we know are like they're going to be there. How big is our nutrition facts? How big are these? Like we have the things that we have to abide by with our with sort of the FDA regulations on energy drinks for the actual what's listed, the size of everything, all that stuff. But then the other space, we're like, okay, so we have Frankie, our main mascot, which is his head is on these current ones, and then his buddies, Purple Alien, the Psycho, and then and Tipsy, the Green Cat. So these are
Okay,
three
yeah.
characters, right? Yeah. So this is and that's what happened too, Michael, is like when I started coming up with this whole concept, we work with this incredible illustrator, and he was just like, look, I send him all my ideas. I usually do a project brief, and I'm like, here's what I'm thinking. A couple days later, he called me. He was like, listen, I think I got it. Check it out. And he sent us this first, green can design. And I was like, oh my God, that looks mental. And just absolutely crazy. So that was, everything you just said is exactly for us. Like we want it to be busy without being overcrowded, even though it's crowded, but yet there's so much to look at. So it's like, okay, I can sort of look at this can and see all these different things. We always say it's almost like a song that has a lot to it. You just have to sort of like be able to go through it again and be like, oh wow, I didn't see that the first time, or oh wow, I didn't hear that the first time. So we kind of like to do that with our art, have people make it be a whole visceral and sensory overload.
It's funny you mention that because when you're in different moods, whether you're driving or you're at the gym or you're on a run and you've got your headphones in or you're listening to music, whatever, you're gonna hear a different song depending on the artist, but like every single song, either you're focusing more on the lyrics or like
Mm-hmm.
this time you hear a little bit more of the beat because maybe it's in step with you on your jog or whatever. And I think
Yeah.
that's going to speak to the people who are going to be drinking these because of the fact that it's the people who do need that extra energy boost to move around to get to where they need to go or to complete their workout. I know I've done it firsthand, but yeah, you listen to that song back and you're like, I didn't hear the piano in there that first time, or those subtle notes, or I didn't hear the just the little Easter eggs that like some artists will throw in the background of other lyrics or whatever. But the Easter eggs you have on these cans, I like how the one is it's the head in the box on the bottom, and it says freshly shocked on one, and then the other one is freshly zapped. So
Yeah.
there is a difference between the two, if anybody was wondering. And man, yeah, look at this purple can. You even got like the danger zapping hazard and
Yeah.
the pull switch to ignite the electric chair and everything. I think this is just so cool.
Thanks, man.
What made you guys start? Have you been in like a beverage industry creating stuff before?
Yeah. So we actually, so we have a company called Purple Alien actually, and that's we do like infused edibles and then we got into beverages around summer of 23, and it's interesting because that space has become a massive headache for us, and it's just so overly regulated to the point that it's lost all its fun for both Kelly and I, honestly, because of how many things we've dealt with in that space. It's like, it can be extremely profitable, but it's also like, the most of your income goes to your attorney and like all these other things that are changing constantly by the minute. So we just, yeah, but we had that for a while. And then last year, we were thinking about some other ideas for maybe some, outside of the hemp space. And we actually initially were talking to the guys from Insane Clown Posse early last year about a collaboration for an infused drink that we wanted to do with them. And so they asked us, they were actually the ones that asked us to make an energy drink. So
Oh, wow.
we were like, oh, wow, we never made one before. But, Cal and I are research freaks. So we started going down the rabbit hole and thinking about, what are things that we would want in an energy drink? What are things that we don't like? And kind of really starting to figure out the raw ingredient sourcing. And that's probably one of our biggest strong suits from our days with Purple Alien has been like, well, we source incredible raw ingredients. We really try to find the most unique textures and aromas and everything. So, that all that learning pretty much went right into what we're doing with Frankenfuel. But yeah, so we started working on a couple of rounds of R&D for an energy drink. The first two were absolutely horrendous. They were so bad. I wouldn't even. I mean, of course, like I used to be a culinary major, so like and I grew up in a big Italian family, so I had great grandma and grandma teaching me how to cook since I was just a little kid. So flavor and textures and things. I'm like, everything matters to us so much. So when we got those first two rounds, I was like, dude, this is trash. We could not do anything with this. I wouldn't give it away. And then we really started honing in on what we wanted and then dialed it in with our formulation specialist. And then about, I don't know, maybe a month or two later, she got back to us and was like, hey, I think I have something for you that this is exactly what you're looking for. And I mean, legitimately opened the can and I was like, oh my God, this is so good. Because it had everything that we were looking for. Like basically everything in my head that both Kel and I's had just floored us. It was like, and actually you said earlier, Michael, I would say that I've been a very light energy drinker for most of my life. Not really avid. And then, but I also outside of Monster really hadn't found ones that were like I could like fully get behind and be like, oh, this is my favorite. I just drank them kind of out of necessity but never overtly enjoyed them. This, I couldn't stop drinking them. It was like it's actually a problem. I drank four, and I think I drank two or three or four. I forget. I think actually three within like an hour and a half when we first got our first rounds, and I was like, dude, these are so good. Oh my God. But yeah, and so then we sent it out to the guys in Insane Clown Posse. They were about it. They wanted to do it, so we were like, cool. Went into what do we do? 10,000 cans to start for them, and we I'm trying to think. It was August of last year when they were trying to get this ready for. They have a festival called the Gathering of the Juggalos. So we shipped it off. We had everything ready, like canned, ready to go. And from a manufacturer, we had our freight company ready to ship it off the next day. And then the manager texted me and said they were pulling the plug in the deal. They weren't doing it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Ah.
So
Well, this is crazy because the last guest I just had on in the June episode is Chunks of Zombie Army, Brian O'Donnell, and he is a big ICP fan. So, I mean, even just having the connection to this, he himself on the episode called himself a juggalo, and for
oh
a
yeah.
second I had to remind myself that that was what the fan base kind of calls themselves, because otherwise I was like, the actual definition, like, what are you saying here? Are you saying you're out on the street? No, no, no. But yeah, I mean, this is such a cool thing for the haunt industry. Whether ICP is going to be partnering it in the future or not, maybe they circle back around. But Did you realize, have you done any kind of haunt acting? Do you realize how much energy drinks are needed by
Oh
this
yeah, of
industry?
course. I mean, dude, like that's basically just. I'll tie off this with the ICP thing, but they pulled the plug because they said there was a communication issue that they wanted a digitally printed can, not a one with a pressure sensitive label. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
right. So they said it looked cheap. That's why actually that's why at this stage we'll never switch to digitally printed cans, which is nuts to me. But
Yeah, what?
anyway, yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. I was like, but
We
I
just
was
talked
like,
about all the design on this. What?
no, I know. So that yeah, so he basically was like, it looks cheap, well, whatever. So all that to say, I had basically like a crisis for like 2 days, and then Kelly was like, "Look, screw those guys. Let's just come up with our own thing. Let's put it out ourselves." So a couple of days later, I was like, I kind of combined all these loves of horror, metal, and all the stuff that I grew up with, and all the things that her and I like, and it was like Frankenfuel, combine those two words, just hit, and I was like off to the races after that. So launched the site in November and really didn't start doing much till like January, February this year. And now we're kind of just off to the races with it. But to your point, yeah, man, I mean, we love doing market research and analysis. And any of our friends in the haunt space, I mean, we know live on energy drinks, paranormals, people, investigations, all live on energy drinks. So for us, it was like, oh, wow, this is a great, extension to what these guys do. I mean, I also came from the music background too, man. So I spent most of my 20s on tour playing in bands. One band called Burn in Silence, and the other was called the Acacia Strain. And yeah, man. And so like all my friends that are in touring bands still, like my best friend Max plays for this band called the Black Dahlia Murder. And we were just talking with him last week about potentially working with them for this fall festival or show or fall tour they're doing with a band called Lorna Shore, and we were like, dude, this is sick. Yeah, how can we work with you guys, or what can we do? Give you out some product, like whatever, the whole thing. And it's just stuff like that now that we're like, holy shit, like we're really kind of we have all these cool markets that like we can really bring together. But like the haunt world, metal, even Comic Con, we're looking at some of that stuff. Like all these intersecting worlds. We kind of realize Frankenfuel sort of sits in this very like unhinged, intersecting sort of part of all these interesting. I would say like I don't want to say alternative worlds, but they're definitely like these very specific spaces that I think are very typically challenging to break through if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, if that makes sense. And for us, we were like, man, I've been obsessed with Halloween since I was fucking 3, I mean, probably 4. And I grew up 45 minutes from Salem, Massachusetts. So like I spent almost all my formative years going to haunts, going to Salem, going to mental institutions, going to all these different places to explore. And it's just like, for me at this stage of my life, Frankenfuel is, I think, the most creatively stimulating sort of endeavor I've ever done outside of music, largely because it ties in literally everything that I love so much to a whole level that's like I can't even quite explain. So yeah, I'm to say I'm excited, man, to work with the haunt space is an understatement. What we wanted to get into the space for a long time, and now we can. So it's pretty rad.
I was mentioning how we had Chunks on last episode, and he wanted to do a chug with me. Typically, I stay pretty professional on the podcast for the most part, but I think I had gone for a run before that, and I did have some Frankenfuel, but then
Nice.
I did the chug on not eating anything, and I was like, whoa, lightweight syndrome kicking in a little bit. So last episode, I was a little bit buzzed. This episode, I think I'm going to be buzzed in a different way. Like I'm going to be firing on all cylinders
Yeah.
here. We're gonna be killing it. But when you had mentioned the fact that you're in the haunt space, I know we also spoke with the general manager of the old Joliet haunted prison. That would be Derek Seltzer, and he was telling me, Seltzer, I get it. No, but no, we talked with him, and they were talking about how there may be a potential for Old Joliet to start hosting. They have that beautiful outdoor space there, like concerts and stuff like that. So that's yet another place where, like, Frankenfuel, Old Joliet Haunted Prison, and then like the music scene can all come together. That would be,
Oh
I don't,
yeah.
of course, I don't know if that's in the works. Maybe I'm reaching here, but Derek, if you're listening, like that would be
Yeah.
huge. And then I had suggested a buddy's band who's alternative, so maybe we put you in touch with them. See, you mentioned the Italian part. I'm very Italian as well. I like to connect all the dots here, make sure. Oh,
Dude.
yeah, I know a guy. We got you
Yeah.
connected. But
You know,
the Italian part, when you mentioned that you had somebody who has a PhD in flavor,
Yeah.
sign me up, dude. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't get enough time to cook as it is, but that's actually
Yeah.
one of like my I think for most people that it's one of my hidden passions because like
Yeah.
if you can give me like 5 hours, I will sit in front of a stove or an oven or a grill. I have a tomahawk steak in the freezer that I've been waiting to make, but like I won't do it because I don't have the right seasoning and I want to stingray it and but like yeah, my goodness. So yeah, flavor is big for this Italian as well. You guys are now in Wisconsin though, because I know you were mentioning growing up in Salem, but you're
Yeah.
just over the border, right?
Yeah, man. Wait, so yeah, I moved out here September of 2016. And yeah, we reside now in Racine, Wisconsin. So we've been here, yeah, I mean, it's yeah, for 8 years now, give or take.
Okay, yeah, but you have Frankenfuel out east as well. I was seeing on some of your posts as well. Where can everybody find Frankenfuel right now these days?
Yeah, so right now we you can definitely hit the website. That's obviously the easiest place for most people. I mean, dude, that's the other thing too. After Midwest Hunters Convention a few weeks back, it was just I mean, the amount of DMs and emails that we've gotten from people like, "Hey, I'm in Indiana. Why can I go to why can I go to my gas station and buy it? Hey, I'm in Tennessee. It's like, guys, trust me when I tell you, like we are actively trying to find the right fits. Here's the thing, we got this distributor here in Wisconsin that has been incredible for us because they didn't even I think they haven't had a non-alcoholic drink in their portfolio for 8 years, and they had sampled all these different energy drinks for years. Nothing ever stood out, and they got Frankenfuel, and their main head of sales was like, I need, like, he called us on a I think it was on his daughter's like college trip. I mean, it was this whole thing. He like broke away from her to be like, I need to get an hour with you guys. We need to talk about Frankenfuel. Like, I think this thing is one of the best energy drinks I've ever had. Yada yada yada. So we were like, holy shit! Like he like fully grasped what we were doing, which was nuts because he's so not into the horror world or haunt world. But he was like, he loved the product, he loved the branding. He's like, you guys are completely nuts, and he's like, honestly, I think the world needs a brand like you, and I really think if someone's gonna rave this like freak flag or whatever, you guys can do it in a really unique way. So they came on as like a massive partner for us here in Wisconsin. So right now we're doing this thing called on-premise bar activation. So we're hitting a lot of bar and restaurants and kind of more like unique spots outside of traditional retail. So we're going into like even like bowling alleys and like weird arcade type bars and stuff. And man, that market is so sick for this brand. It's like it's actually built for it outside of the haunt space, I think. And it's really been very exciting to see. A lot of the bar owners are so pumped to make mixed drinks with it. Which, back to the flavor, man. When we did this, that was the number one thing we said, that the flavor profile had to be symbolic enough to the point where if you put booze in it, it's going to taste even better. And we've now seen this in like 5 different iterations of these mixed drinks, that it hits so well and on a completely different way. But yeah, so right now we're going to hit about 2,000 retail locations starting mid to late July. We're doing this sort of like I can't call it a co-branded thing, but it's something with like it's like a acknowledgement that this brand, Dr. McGillicuddy's, has a new sours line they're releasing. We met with their mixologist and came up with these 3 spooky drinks. One's called the Hexorcist, the other is called Prom Queen Guillotine, and Ooze Cruise. And it's they're almost like these almost like a frozen daiquiri with a Frankenfuel pour over, and they're phenomenal. They're really good. So that's going to hit the market to about 2,000 spots toward the end of July. And then, yeah, Salem, Mass picked us up in this place called Frankenstein's Castle. So if you're in Salem, Mass, you can find it over there. And our sort of goal right now is to start working with a lot of different haunts for the season. And then kind of just hit the distribution circuit really heavily in those markets. So then outside of the season, start hitting, regular traditional gas stations and C-stores and of course, bars and restaurants.
Wow, that is first of all, that's a lot on your plate. Second of all, now you're speaking my language, mixing it with alcohol. But
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that the other night when I was interviewing Chunks because I was like, first of all, I had to save some of these for when we came on because I wanted to be
Yeah.
drinking them live with you, but it was so tempting to just not grab one in the fridge. But also, I was
Let
like,
me cut you off. Let me cut you
oh
off
yeah,
quick because I want to tell you something. So I want you to come up with your own drink with Frankenfuel, and then
oh,
it'll be the Voodoo Podcast drink that you will. And I'll make a crazy flyer with it, whatever. Because, dude, honestly, I've been putting the word out to like our people, and everyone's so stoked to figure out like their own concoctions. Because I'm like, all right, well, dude, if we're gonna work with you on this side of it, like, dude, come up with your own drink because that's again, like, we want you to have your own thing. So we're gonna build this whole like portfolio of our coffee concoctions that become this whole like kind of fun thing that like again promotes you guys and whoever we're working with their own signature drinks.
can we put our logo on it?
Fuck yeah, of course.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Heck
man.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll start thinking of some stuff and yeah, shoot some stuff over your way.
Yeah.
Oh wow, now my mind is racing. But yeah, I didn't want it because so I'm more of a hard liquor guy. So for me, like he was like, I want to do a chug. I'm like, the only thing I have in the house is probably like a Truly. So that's what we did. But I was like, I'd rather like sip on some Jack Daniels. And then I was like, I don't have any like mixers. Like I could do it straight, but like usually I'd like mixer. And I thought about mixing it with Frankenfuel, and I was like, no, I just want to keep Frankenfuel as is. But that's good to know in the future when we've got more Frankenfuel and
Yeah.
we can just go ahead and mix it and go crazy with it. That is incredible. And that sounds like the most Wisconsin thing ever that they hadn't had a non-alcoholic drink in a while. And I love it. That is amazing.
Dude, it's funny. We don't even drink that much, but man, the drinking culture in Wisconsin is on another level. I've never seen anything like it, dude. Like I've never.
Yeah.
I toured all over the world, man, and I've seen a lot of big drinkers. Massachusetts has some big drinkers, but man, Wisconsin is on another level.
I mean, I think it's the Midwest in general. When we go down to Indiana for Indy 500, even myself included, there's a lot of crazies out there. But Wisconsin is a big one. We'll go up there in the summers. A couple of friends of mine have some lake houses, and then pretty much anywhere you go downtown Chicago, like especially another set of friends of mine have a boat, and they're like, yeah, let's go out on the lake. And we kind of steer clear of the playpen too much because otherwise we're like, yeah, there's some crazies in there as well. But yeah, I could see all of them with a Frankenfuel in their hands come this summer. That would be amazing. But
Yeah, man.
going into the haunt season, like you said, partnering up with haunts, there are so many haunts here in the Chicagoland area. It's one of the biggest. I always like to say it's the biggest, but I might
Yeah,
be a little biased. But it's one of the biggest Halloween and haunt markets that there is, and you can just see that when you walk into or out of a lot of these haunts, and their midways are so elaborate, and they
amazing.
have a lot of these mixed drinks that you're talking about. The only thing they're missing is the Frankenfuel actual
Correct.
part
Yeah.
mixing of it. So if Frankenfuel was able to get into some of these and yeah, if you can't, I'm sure you're well into contact with some of these people. I'd like to put you in touch with some folks as well to go ahead and get Frankenfuel into some of
Sure.
their bars and stuff like that because I mean I think that would be beneficial for of course both sides of things, but also people like me who are going through these haunts and want to pick me up afterwards, and
Yeah,
that
man.
and a fun pick me up that can be mixed with their alcoholic drinks and be themed with the show and that's kind of what everything is leaning towards. And I could rattle off every single haunt that we have over here and it would take the whole podcast because I think you should be in all of them.
Dude, there's so many out in Illinois. It's actually like mind numbing. And yeah, we've been in talks with a couple so far. I know 5 Points Haunt for sure that we're gonna work with those guys. We have some really cool ideas with them that we're excited about. And some other stuff that I can't quite talk about just yet, but that we're in early talks with that I think could be amazing if we get rolling out with them. But yeah, man, I mean, it's like I think for us, it's because my whole thing is this, and someone had actually mentioned this to me about um, someone made a comment I think on Facebook about that like we were just a gimmick or something like that, and I was like, okay, well that's bullshit. We're certainly not a fucking gimmick. No, but one of the things they had said was like it should be about the haunt, not some like secondary energy drink. And I was like, oh no, I totally agree. Like we're not looking to take over the haunt. We want it to be an extension of the haunt. Because it's like if you guys are gonna buy Monster or Red Bull or anything traditional, and that's what you usually buy, cool, then just stick with it if that's what you want. But for us, it's like, yeah, man. If I like, again, this is me completely being completely biased, like without any affiliation with this. If I owned a haunt and I tried Frankenfuel and I saw it, I am telling you, as someone that just a lover of all things, horror and everything else, I would buy this so fast. Not because of anything outside of one. It's incredibly delicious. I love it. But then the branding and all the things we're talking about, because it's just an extension of the brands of the entire, like you said, the entire experience. So for us, we were like, wow, man, getting into the haunts to me, especially coming into like the full throttle season, it's like, one, we're just honored that anyone is even looking to take us on at this stage. And two, it's like, hey, when you go to your concessions and you can have this experience where if you have a liquor license, hey, great. Here's a bunch of drinks we've made for people or people have made with us, and here's what they are. Add them to your menu or come up with your own. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the fun of it. And I think for that, it's like, as a haunt owner or anything of the sort, I mean, dude, all the half the haunt actors that are buying from us right now, it's insane. They're just like, oh my god, I'm trying to get my owners to bring you guys in or whatever, because they all love it, and they're like, if I can choose between this or the others, I want to drink this, and I'm like, dude, that's so like, dude, honestly, we're the most humbled you could possibly meet in terms of this stuff because. Kel and I have been grinding for years with Purple Alien and our other ventures in the past, and hadn't, I say moderate traction, but like where Frankenfuel, the moment it all was conceived and we in the branding and everything sort of came to life, no pun intended, it was just like it was so obvious to me and her. It was like, okay, if we're gonna bet on anything, this I will put every dollar, which we have at this point. We were supposed to get married in September. That got pulled. Every dollar we own right now, dude, is literally behind Frankenfuel. We're self-funded.
Wow.
We haven't taken investors. We turned down multiple, and we're like, you know what? We're gonna tough this out and do this the right way. We don't want to go traditional retail. We don't want to go to grocery stores. We're not trying to go that route. We really want to go to the haunt world and sort of expand from there into other ventures. But and that's why when I think for me, we have a big chip on our shoulder, especially because we're like, you know what, man, we think that the haunt world has the most talented people, I think, in the planet when it comes to makeup, art, anything of the sort, man. It's like there's so many incredibly talented people that now are an extension of us that are reaching out to us like, hey, man, I want to promote you guys. But we're also like, well, hold on. Like, how can we all work together? Because, I mean, Kel and I are the biggest, like, hey, let's all grow together. As we start to build and grow, we're like, how can we bring all of our, crazy carnies and put them all in one big circus? Let's go fucking take over the world. And that's kind of how we are, man. And so I think it's, for us, it's really exciting to see all these unique people doing some incredible stuff that I think, have been just, I don't know. It's like, to me, being able to work with them in some capacity, it's going to be so rad to be able to bring all this stuff to a different leg.
So yeah, something you mentioned in there was the fact that you're trying to get into all of the haunt world and stuff like that, but you were also mentioning the personalities and the people that they come from all different walks of life to create their um, haunt characters or bring out their persona and creativity in this industry. And we've talked about this a lot on the podcast that I'm in the sports world predominantly. I mean, haunt world is there too and stuff like that, but there's so much crossover, especially like for me, primarily it's hockey. And there's so many people that love hockey, especially being in a market like Chicago, but all are also in the haunt world. So like we're diehard Blackhawks fans, and also, oh, did you catch the game last night? No, I was haunt acting. Like it's all, like it's crazy, but you get to see these people's personalities behind the scenes, but it also comes out in their creativity and in their character. And I think this is a perfect platform for us to showcase your personality so that people don't think that you are a gimmick, because like you said, you're not. So we'll jump into the Voodoo podcast, the Voodoo personalities segment that is sponsored by our home haunt Voodoo on Vassar. And I'll give you a couple of questions just so that people can kind of get a chance to know who Mike is.
Sure.
Your you talked about being in the music side of things. Do you have a favorite band that you've seen live in concert other than like your own performances?
Of course. Hands down, man. Anyone that knows me on a personal level knows Pantera is my all-time favorite band.
Ooh, Okay.
I don't care who new, old, doesn't matter. You can put anyone in front of those. That the original four, there's nothing but like Far Beyond Driven to me is one of the greatest albums ever made. It still sounds current in 2025, actually better than most of their albums that come out now. And I think Dime was the all-time greatest guitar player. I think just as a whole, seeing them four or five times, I met them twice. My brother actually somehow got me backstage passes when I was 18 for my birthday, and I got to meet them, and I had probably as close to an out of body experience as I've ever had. That band to me is the pinnacle of all things metal. So yeah, I would say seeing Pantera live, it was just unlike anything you could possibly fathom in their heyday. Unbelievable.
That is a perfect crossover because when we were talking to Derek Seltzer on here, he was explaining that many might not know that they actually owned a haunted house for a time. That was New Orleans Nightmare.
Uh,
Did you get a chance to go and see it?
well, Phil owned House of Shock.
Right, right. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was House of Shock, and then
The
yeah, yeah.
before, yeah, yep.
Right.
So when I was on tour with the Acacia Strain, we were out in New Orleans. This is back like 2009, and we were on tour with this band called Crowbar from New Orleans, and that's again another legendary band. They toured with Pantera in their heyday multiple times. So like even me being on tour with those guys, I got to hang out with them, especially Kirk, the singer and guitar player. That dude told me the most like 45-minute dime bag story that was like I still can't even fathom it, dude. It was unreal. But all that to say, we were out in New Orleans playing at this place called, I think it was Headhunters or something, and I saw this poster for House of Shock, and I was like, oh my god, we have to go. At that time, I was drinking pretty heavily, so I ended up getting absolutely wrecked and then like blacked out in someone's house. And I woke up the next day and I was like, dude, I wanted to go to freaking House of Shock. God damn it, I'm such an idiot.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah, bummer. I never got to go, but I owned a lot of House of Shock merch because I love Phil and I knew he was doing that for years. So that's cool.
well, hopefully Frankenfuel gets their foot in the door with the 13th Floor Entertainment Company because they own what is now what used to be House of Shock. It's the New Orleans Nightmare, I believe it is down there.
Yeah.
And Derek was on his episode was explaining about how there are still a lot of House of Shock items and animatronics, props, and all that kind of stuff tucked behind the scenes, kind of like I don't know if they're displayed like a museum, but they could open up a museum all within just themselves of all the things that they would be able to display of the history that was there.
Dude, legendary, and also Phil from Pantera's House Haunt is insane. It's
Oh,
like,
that's right.
dude, it's mental. So I have some friends that work for Pantera now,
Oh,
and
okay.
I trust me when I say like I've been hitting them up about, hey, like how can I get product to Phil, or how can we meet up? So they're actually playing Wisconsin in August, and I think we've worked out something that I can kind of go hang out with the guys and introduce them to Frankenfuel. I know Phil loves energy drinks, and he obviously loves horror, so we were like, dude, let's just lock in. So I think we're gonna be able to hang with them and get them some products, which I'm fucking so pumped about.
That would be incredible. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So you didn't get a chance to see Shock House. Do you have a favorite haunted house within either in the East Coast region or around here in the Midwest?
Yes, man. So in the 90s, growing up in Massachusetts, there was a place called Spooky World in
Okay.
Berlin, Mass. And that was kind of like, from what I understand, like one of the first like actual haunts, from what I understand, that would
Oh,
actually
okay.
like really existed. And prior, I mean, again, someone could correct this and I have no idea, but I just know that that place was completely like the most amazing experience for me. So when I was growing up, man, like my aunt was super into Halloween as well. So she used to take me and like some other people, some other my cousins and stuff out to see Spooky World. And I mean, I met Robert Englund there. I met
Oh, wow.
Elvira. I met that freak show Tiny Tim playing a little friggin' ukulele. And I mean, dude, it was like I can remember the visceral and like whole sensory overload of going there, seeing Leatherface. I mean, dude, it was off the chart. So that's always been the height of for me of like the pinnacle. because it was just so ingrained in my brain. But I'm trying to think, like, to be honest, dude, I've always loved Massacre in Illinois. That's been a cool one, largely because I love just like the. I'm a visual person, so I have to. Everything has to look a certain way. And like the first time I went there, I remember as we walked through it, I was like, dude, this is so cool. Like the art, I mean, just how they design is really interesting to me. I thought that was really fascinating. Old Joliet's kick ass. I would love that spot. 13th floor is killer. But yeah, we haven't actually made out too. I'm trying to think. What's the other spots? Oh god,
Well,
there's
there's
so
a bunch.
many, man. I mean, we've been
There's
to a bit.
Disturbia, Basement of the
Yeah.
Dead. We have so
Yep.
many. We have Hell's Gate.
Absolutely.
Who am I leaving
Yep.
off the list? Apologies if I've left anybody off the list. There is so Evil Intentions used to be right here in my backyard in Elgin. I'm in Schaumburg, and now they've moved over to Maple Park, which is further west from here. But they're in a much bigger facility now, and it's going to be a whole complex. And this was kind of one of the ones I was referring to when I was talking about how they're not just a haunted house now. Now they're going to have music venues and bars and stuff like that. So sounds like a perfect place for Frankenfuel to
Dude.
be. I'm just saying.
Well, no, dude, honestly, and like that's the cool thing too. Like a lot of the places we're talking to that also have haunts, but they also have year-round capabilities. Whether it's like, hey, I own my cousin owns an axe throwing bar or something like that,
Yeah.
or or like the other thing is escape rooms are starting to pop up a lot, laser tag, things like that, and or venues. I mean, that to me is like I said, music and horror go so together in so many levels, and it's obviously metal especially, but to me it's like God having that sort of capability to bring our two worlds and bring them into this wild world of Frankenfuel is, like I said, it's the coolest experience for us.
All right. So if we weren't finding you at a concert, playing your own music, or at a haunt, or of course sipping on some Frankenfuel, where would we find Mike Cassavant?
Yeah. Either with my guitar, writing music, hanging with my fiance. We're homebodies, man. Like, it's funny. Everyone thinks I'm this massive extrovert, but I have very extroverted tendencies, but I'm actually really introverted. So it takes a lot for me to like turn it on. But yeah, we just, we're homebodies, man. We love just like going out for Sunday drives, just kind of clearing our heads, keeping our phones away for a while and just enjoying each other's company and just sort of seeing the open land. Like, it sounds cheesy, but man, my mind is, as you can imagine, dude, it doesn't stop. It's like a freight train 24/7. So when I do get like a Sunday reset for me, it's like we hop in the car and just point to a direction and go. And it's just let the wind hit our face, dude. And it's the coolest. I get so chilled out. It's like, it's the best, man. So yeah, if we're not doing, Frankenfuel stuff or business stuff or haunt stuff, we're like, me, I write music all the time. I'm working on some new projects right now. One specifically I'm so pumped about. And then yeah, hanging with her and just chilling, man, watching movies.
I'm glad you mentioned movies at the end of there because my next question was actually going to be we covered the music side of things. Do you have a favorite movie? And I'll extend this. It doesn't have to be in the haunt realm. It could be even outside, but maybe even give your just all-time favorite movie and then haunt world favorite movie.
Haunt would, I mean, for horror, I would say I'm kind of a traditionalist dude. So like, I mean, it was my first ever movie I ever saw. So I was 4. My dad let me watch it, and it completely terrified me. So I mean, I would say that, but I also like it's kind of a toss up between that and Child's Play, the original, because those two. I know people can hate on Child's Play a little bit, but man, I think Chucky is one of my all time favorite characters. Which also is fun because our buddy John from his company Grave and Decay made our Frankie doll, or made a Frankie doll for us. And we call him like Baby Frankie. But dude, it's so rad having him because it's like we kind of have a little Chucky doll now, which is, to me, I'm like, this is the coolest thing in the world. Oh my God. But yeah, so Child's Play, I'd probably say is one of my all-time favorite horror movies, just because I think he's such an unhinged character and also completely hilarious. Like when he screams and his little feet jump around, it's like, dude, it's the fucking funniest shit ever. I still, to this day, I've seen the movie 1,000 times and I piss my pants laughing all the time, man. It's so good. And then a non-horror based movie, without question, Shawshank Redemption.
Ooh, very
I
good
think it's
one.
one of the greatest movies ever made. I think, and also interestingly, it was written by Stephen King. So
Right.
it's funny, man. I mean, I love him for his horror, but I actually love him for more of his like emotionally derived, like really interesting stories, like Shawshank. And I mean, that whole Andy Dufresne character and sort of this introspective world of those two worlds colliding, of like this really beautifully gifted mind in this, consolidated world, and how he broke free of it. I was like, again, I think things not so much at face value, but I try to break it down from like a philosophical standpoint. And I always found that that movie was very symbolic to me, because I always felt like, as someone that never quite fit into the mold, if you will, that movie was like, I would say that and Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory were like my two breakouts of like, oh, I can just be who I am. And yeah, it's okay that I don't fit in with all these other things, but I can go do all this stuff. And yeah, it kind of gave me permission to do that, which is pretty cool.
I went through a Roald Dahl phase as well, right after, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and all that kind of stuff. So I could see that one. But more importantly, the Stephen King non-horror stuff. Have you gotten to go out and see The Life of Chuck yet? It's
No,
out.
actually, I haven't.
So it's in movie theaters right now. And I for Father's Day, my dad was like, "That's the movie I want to go see," and I was kind of hoping he was going to go with, we had read the Cressida Cowell How to Train Your Dragon books, and I was like, "Oh, the live action or the CGI'd and live action one is
Yeah,
coming out." I'm
yeah.
like, oh, that's cool. And then of course I'm a big Marvel fan, so I was like, I'm a couple movies behind with all that stuff. Like with how much I've been working, I haven't been able to get to any of theaters to see like any of these movies that are coming out, and there were a bunch on my list. And then he goes, "Oh yeah, The Life of Chuck," and I'm like, I didn't even know that that was in movies. Like, what is it? And a friend of mine who is a big movie buff, he's actually my co-host at work for the day job. He was like, "Go in knowing absolutely nothing about it." So that's exactly what I did, and I didn't realize it was written by Stephen King until I saw, the credits start rolling, and I'm just like, "Oh, wow!" Like it was so beautifully written, like it almost brought tears to my eyes. I was like, this is amazing. Like the concepts, of course, some are a little far fetched, and some of the storyline, you're like, where really is this going? But it does kind of wrap pretty much everything up in a nice bow. And the perspectives that it's told from and the life lessons. And then you see at the end it's Stephen King, and you're just like, but wasn't this the guy that's like supposed to be writing about all that scary stuff? So like there's a
If you,
little bit of elephant in there, but I won't spoil anything for anyone. And yeah, I would definitely recommend it. One of the best movies I have seen. That wasn't like because I'm a very like I like action stuff. Like go give me Batman, Dark Knight, all that kind of stuff. But like one of the like the philosophical pieces, one of the best ones I've seen for
you know,
sure.
what's interesting. I've read a lot of his books, and I think the best book he's ever written is it's called Stephen King on Writing, and it's kind of like a bit of like a journal memoirs of like his whole life, kind of. And dude, I have never read a book and actually laughed out loud like when I was in public places, and I would be like, "Wait, what did you just say?" Like it was. It's so good. I actually read that I think four times, like back to back over the span of like 2 or 3 months. It's such a phenomenal book, and it kind of opens up him to sort of a newer audience in a certain way that maybe just didn't know a lot about his sort of upbringing and things of that sort. But just his storytelling capabilities, man, take things to a whole new light. It's pretty rad.
Yeah, no doubt. One of the best authors in the haunt world and outside of it too, and the adaptation of most of his works to the screen. This one specifically, the Life of Chuck, was also directed by Mike Flanagan, who did a lot of the Haunting of Hill House and Fall of the House of Usher, and it was a lot of the same cast of Fall of the House of Usher, and I loved both of those. Bly Manor was for me,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
Hill House was like, oh, that is what horror and thriller should be. And then when you get to Fall of the House of Usher, of course, everything is an Edgar Allan Poe story, but
Yeah.
to adapt it to present day and to use that cast, I mean, they knocked it out of the park. I mean, that is,
So good, dude. That was actually one of my favorite series. I love that. It's so good.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, we'll jump out of the pot or the personality segment right now and back into the podcast. But
Sure.
I wanted to mention that I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys at MHC. I was running around hosting stuff with Chris Sarabsky and Haunted House Chicago up on the stage and
Nice.
Transworld Live and stuff like that. But then also doing the hot sauce challenge. So I probably could have used the Frankenfuel after my mouth was on fire, dying up there. But was MHC the first of the conventions that you got a chance to go to?
Yep. Yeah. So we went to MHC for the first time last year as just spectators. Like we'd never been before, and I was probably like a kid in a horror movie. I was so stoked, man. It was like the most incredible experience from just being there. And so then actually Frankenfuel at that point didn't even exist. So, a few months later, then we started formulating and stuff after the ICP debacle. But yeah, man. And so we had never done a trade show with Frankenfuel yet. And then obviously we were like, MHC might be a pretty rad one for us to break out to. And our buddies in Dreadworks, Mason, we had been chatting with, and he was like, dude, I really think you guys should do it. I think it'd be great for you. And it'd be a good, like, kind of introduction to the trade show circuit and kind of get your feelers out with that. And man, it was like, I can't even describe the feeling coming back from that on Sunday night after everything, because we didn't really know what to expect. Up until like a week prior, we weren't even sure if we were going to be able to do it. I mean, there was so many last minute things that we had to pull together, but it all came together, and the reactions, man, like, were so insane. Like, from the moment the doors opened, within the first probably 20 minutes, our booth was stacked the whole month. I mean, the whole weekend. It was just bananas. And met so many great people. Actually, I'll send you this video. It's like 8.5 minutes of people actually sampling and getting their live reactions. And it's just like the feedback was, and I can only capture so much because there were so many people happening at once. And it was unbelievable. It was one of the greatest experiences we've ever had as a brand so far. And I mean, for me, coming from the music industry, and I some of my best friends play in metal bands and stuff, and I've had so many great memories with people from metal and hardcore scene. But like, the haunt world is unlike anything I've ever experienced, honestly, and it's the most welcoming, supportive community that like I've ever been a part of, and just seeing the outpour of people that have like reached out to us, just wanting to like help get the word out about us, has been so just unreal, man. Like I said, we were so humbled and grateful for the people that have come into our life because of just that one trade show at this point. And prior to that, we've got our friends in like the Scare Factor and in some other spots that were just like, hey, like, kind of backing us kind of early on. And it was like, wow, this is really cool, because no one owes us anything, dude. And just having people that were like, no, man, you guys are cool people. I love what you're doing. I love your drinks. I think the industry needs it. So like, how can we help? And it's just like, we've never experienced that before. So MHC was honestly one of the greatest experiences we've ever had.
You hear that, Christmas people? We're way nicer than you. We're not Clark Griswolding one more light bulb than you. Yeah, get out of here. No, that is awesome, man. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. MHC is one of the best weekends of the year. It's something I always circle on my calendar. Transworld was fun too, and now that you guys are in the scene a little bit more, and you did your first convention, I'm sure we'll probably see you guys there as well. What is coming? I mean, we heard a little bit about some of the deals that you're trying to make. What is coming next for Frankenfuel? What do you guys have actually circled on the calendar?
Actually circled, so we are finalizing the paperwork for Transworld for next year. So we're officially going to be there, which we're super stoked about. We've got this on-premise launch with Dr. McGillicuddy starting end of July. We are the main sponsor or energy drink for this thing called X Roads 41. It's a huge country festival in Oshkosh, Wisconsin in August. They're expecting about between 50 and 80,000 people over each 3 days or whatever it is. So they asked us if we were interested, and we talked to our guys from Badger, our distributor, and we were like, dude, I mean, this could be mental. Plus the fact that, we're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. I mean, you're gonna see a sea of cowboy hats, flannels, and like cowboy boots and booty shorts, and then with these fucking freak shows, which all like this whole tent set up like completely nuts. But we're really pumped about that. I think it's gonna be a very interesting experience for us. So we have that on the calendar. Hot Topic picked us up for a 50 store test pilot run for middle of August, so we're really pumped about that. And then uh, possibly the fall tour with Black Dahlia Murder as a sponsor for those guys as well. So we're trying to put all these little pieces together, and then all the haunts, man. That's kind of the other thing too. We're really pushing.
What weekend was that cowboy that country event?
Oh God, August. I'll send you the I forget now. I think it's like the beginning of August, like maybe the 7th to the 9th or something like that. 7th, 8th, 9th, 7th, something like that, or 7th to the 10th, maybe something like that.
Okay,
Yeah, but
because
that's supposed to be. Yeah.
I'll be there for the booty shorts and the cowboy. I mean the Frankenfuel, the Frankenfuel. Yeah, something cut out on the audio right there. I don't know
Are that
what that was. Yeah, excuse
right?
me. No, but
Yep.
I am headed up your way a couple of times this summer. One will be
Cool.
the Creed and Nickelback, and
Nice.
who else is playing there? There's a couple other Hinder, a couple other bands that'll be at the it's called the Summer of '99 extended tour. I've seen both
Yeah.
of those bands separately already, but the boys are like, we got to go back. I'm like, all right, cool. That's in mid to late July, so that's coming up here shortly. And then a
Yeah.
friend of mine is having his bachelor party weekend. We were supposed to have our hockey, we have a big roller hockey game in the summer. And then he texts the group chat and he's like, I can't make it. And I'm like, all right, this is one of my longest time friends. He actually does voodoo a little bit with us, but he's not a very scary person, so he'll just work the front booth. But he's like, I can't make the game, and I'm like, oh shoot, like one of my best friends, he can't make the game. Then he texts me on the side, he goes, hey, you can't make the game either, and I'm just like, what do you mean? I run it, like well, I have to be there. And he's like, no, that's my bachelor party weekend. We're going up to Wisconsin. I'm like, oh okay, so now we got to think of it. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
but yeah, I'll be up across the border a couple of times. Maybe I'll have to go and find myself some Frankenfuel when I'm up
Dude.
there.
Yeah, hit me up if you're coming out, man. I'd love to meet up with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll see if we could sneak in an extra ticket to one of these concerts. Or
Yeah,
hey, we'll bring some Frankenfuel out. We'll start giving out Frankenfuel samples or whatever. But no, that is awesome. I'm excited for you guys to get your foot in the door in places. Me being in the sports world, and we kind of talked about this crossover. Have you looked at all into? I mean, I know stadiums would probably a little tough to get into. Have you looked
right.
into any kind of stuff there? Because like you said, with the cowboy and the country scene, you guys will stand out like a sore thumb, and that actually might work in your benefit,
Oh
so
yeah, totally.
something in the sports world that, like, I know this would probably fit right in with hockey because they love that alternative stuff, and like I
Yeah,
said, there's
man.
a lot of crossover in the haunt world, but even like baseball, soccer, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Yeah, man. We're like I said, it's cool because a lot of those venues for us, like hockey or wrestling, is another area that we're
Mm,
we're you know
hmm
we're looking at. There's like some dragway stuff and like kind of monster truck things and anything like that. I feel like that's kind of will be very embracive to something like this. Hockey for sure, dude. Like without question. I think it's interesting because my brother's like the biggest Bruins fan on the planet, and
ah.
he I know, sorry. um, but he had said that to me, I think last week or whatever. He was just like, dude, this at like hockey arenas would be mental. I'm like, no, dude, I don't disagree with you. I think it actually, because like you said, it's interesting because like I didn't even realize the haunt world and hockey kind of fit. But then also it's like, half my friends that are the biggest metalheads and playing the biggest metal bands are also like the biggest like football fans, or like they all have their thing. So it actually makes a lot of sense to me. And then having this like wild drink sort of be this, weird sort of divider of these worlds to bring up shit together. It's kind of cool, man.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm super excited to see where this goes, and it could be used in all walks of my life, basically, like all the
Yeah.
different facets that I'm in. Like I could see this coming with me everywhere I go. So
Awesome.
yeah, that would be awesome, and wishing you guys the best and looking forward to it. Do we have a little something for the viewers and the listeners here?
Yeah, dude. So we're gonna have you guys set up now with your own URL. So it'll be frankenfuel.com/voodoo podcast. So we'll have that set up for you guys, and they'll be able to receive 15% off any of their orders. And yeah, man, you guys will be rocking and rolling.
I might have used that the most, but I hope all of my listeners are jumping on that as well and go and get yourself some Frankenfuel. Mike, this has been phenomenal. I look forward to working with you and
Likewise.
getting a chance to work with Frankenfuel and drink more Frankenfuel and see this like I said, everywhere we go. And we'll work together. We'll put you in touch with some really cool people, especially here in the
Awesome,
home
dude.
world.
Yeah, man.
So.
No, we appreciate it, and like I said, we're just we're big on the let's all grow together, man. And whatever we can do for you guys, and vice versa. It's like let's roll.
Where can fans find you easily these days? Of course, the website too, right?
Yeah, website. I'm probably, as far as socials, I'm probably most active on Instagram, I think. I mean, we post on Facebook a bunch too, but I would say probably Instagram is the most. Yeah, and then obviously our website is a big one because anyone can DM us through that or email us through that as well. But yeah, Instagram and website are probably the best two.
Sweet, sweet. I'm looking
There.
forward to it. Well, thank you again, and thank you for the samples. I'll be using these wisely as I'm hyped up right now, and I got a little bit of time before my next broadcasting thing. So maybe I'll go for a run here, even though it's 90 degrees outside. These
Oh,
things are going to keep me refreshed. So.
awesome, dude. I love
One more
it.
time for the zero sugar one that I have yet to crack, but maybe that'll be this is before the run. This will be after.
There you go.
So
Awesome, brother.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Good to talk to you.
You too, bud. Thanks a bunch. And yeah, thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. Welcome back in. That was a great interview with Mike Cassavant of Frankenfuel, who is going to be the newest Voodoo sponsor. So get your Frankenfuel. Of course, he dropped the code for you right there. We'll post it up in this video as well. But yeah, here in the July episode, I thought we'd slow things down because we haven't gotten a chance to chat with you too much. And by we, I mean my co-host on the podcast, rejoining the living over here, Mr. Matt Nausid. How is life going for you, man?
Obviously, it has been very, very busy for me. So I'm happy to be back here. And things are going to get even more exciting very, very soon. We're expecting our second, and it's going to be here within the next couple of days. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting season for us, the Halloween season for us, as well as just seeing what number two has in stake for us. But he's patiently waiting in his mom's belly. He has no plans on moving. So sometime this week we will head to the hospital and get this sucker rolling here. So
That is awesome. Looks like it'll be this coming Friday, so that'll be the 25th of July. Looks like is
yes,
the due date. All right.
yeah.
Okay. That's my aunt's birthday and my one friend Jesse, who has been on the podcast before. He did voodoo with us for a number of years and should be returning with us for a little bit this year. That's his birthday as well. So he's in good company.
He's a lucky little guy. So we're happy whenever he comes, but we're gonna start that on Friday. So I hope it's a quick one for not only my sanity but my wife's as well. The first one was pretty quick. So I'm hoping that this one is pretty quick, but he is patient. He is patiently waiting. He's gonna go the full distance here. So we're happy and we're just waiting.
So, for those that don't know, your first son's name is Lincoln. So, I suggested a couple different names, for the second one, maybe Abraham, maybe go in reverse order, or Log, Lincoln Log. What was the other one all the different Lincoln cars, Navigator and whatever they make. I don't even know. But do you guys have a name picked out already?
We do. So it's his name is going to be Bennett Hayes. So keeping up with the president kind of theme, sort of with the middle name. So Hayes and Lincoln. So yeah, it's not a family name or anything. We just really like it, and we'll call him Benny the Jet. So
Benny the
we're
Jet.
we're pretty pumped about that.
That is awesome. Well, so that's gonna, as you were kind of saying, scale back Greenbriar this year. What are you expecting of this upcoming haunt season? Can you believe it's already almost August? This is
I
nuts.
know normally right now would be the absolute prime time for haunters all across the nation to start kind of working on their haunts, especially the bigger ones. Either repairing things, building new, even getting those last minute plans in place, or just starting your plans. It's okay to just start now. I mean, it's still, at least in the Midwest, it's 90 degrees outside. Um, but now I've kind of changed my focus, so we're just in the planning stages. If I'm going to build anything, it'll probably be one thing that we're going to use to kind of announce to the public that our new baby is here, and that's why the display is a little bit smaller. So I'm trying to figure out how to work that in. Maybe a photo opportunity, because we're gonna scale back probably about 50% just for this first year, because he'll be so small, and we'll have a 1.5 year old. So it's going to be very difficult for me to do this all by myself. But Greenbriar will live. I'm going to try and get very detailed and technical on the display that we do have. So we're probably gonna take out at least the all the pneumatic props. So 7 to 12 pneumatic props will probably not go up because it's just a lot. So we'll stick with motorized props. We'll stick with the cemetery theme for this year. We're going to do away with the pirate side this year. And that will be hopefully, like I said, if I can build it in time, a photo op for our guests to take a photo. It will also have a sign kind of explaining what's to come, and how why the display looks that way. So that's I'm disappointed, but also I have to know my limitations. Last year we had a little guy as well because he was born in May, so it was very difficult for me, and I know with two now it's going to be exponentially worse. Not worse, better, but harder. So we are going to transition a little bit, so just make it a little bit smaller. But I know that in your case, Voodoo is going to be full bore this year.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of the opposite, and we're going to go bigger and better and hopefully talk to some other haunters in order to make sure that this final year, I know I've said it a million times, final year on Vassar. We're not doing it on Vassar ever again after this year. So this is it. I mean, we want as many people to come out, and that goes for, of course, visitors that want to come and see us, our guests, anybody in the haunt world that wants to either come walk through or act with us. And then, of course, our entire Voodoo family. Like anybody who has ever acted in Voodoo with us, reach out to me. The door is open. Please come. We would love to have the cameos back and make sure that everybody gets a chance to say one last goodbye to Vassar. But I mean, Voodoo will live on. I mean, with it being our last year on Vassar, it doesn't mean we're scaling back on merch. Like we're going to be pumping out more merch, and that's going to be Voodoo branded. So I mean, you could either go classic with the Voodoo on Vassar, or I mean, the Voodoo name will live on, whether it's through this podcast or wherever Voodoo goes in the very far future. So we wanted to take that jump a couple years ago, but it's not as easy of a jump as we thought. We thought we had something in place, and hey, you go back to the drawing board, and in the case of this year, go back to old reliable and just do it how you know how, and expand to really maximize everything. I mean, for the last couple of years that we had been doing it, I was like, I don't really know what more we can do. This year, I know some things that we can do that are feasible. I'm trying to not bite off more than I can chew with broadcasting and work and everything going on. And definitely, it's going to be a scaled back building crew. We're going to need a lot of help building because people's lives have just gotten busier. We're not going to have the help that we needed. So I think it's going to be a lot of Mike staying up odd hours of every night, making sure that this gets built and this gets done and ready to go. But it's going to be worth it. It's going to be fun in the end. But you need for Greenbriar, you need one of those. You know how people have those zombie flamingos on the front lawn. You need a zombie stork. You know?
Yeah. Zombie. Oh, that's a good idea. That is a good
Yeah.
idea. That might have to happen. I might need to find something. That would be cool. That's a great idea. I might take that, Mike.
Well, as long as it's
Yeah,
not too morbid with a newborn,
yeah,
and then
no, no.
you got a zombie stork.
Yeah, that's one thing that Greenbrier doesn't do. We don't do baby stuff other than just announcing them.
Right.
So yeah, we don't dabble in any of that. So it'll be, but that's a good idea. That's a good idea. But to go back to your point about like just the kind of natural progression through life, I know we've had several conversations about it, but how do people adapt? We see, haunts popping up all the time, but we also see them closing down all the time for similar situations. So whether that be people have kids, people have work, people have jobs, and I think it really goes back to your support system. Who do you have in your life that is willing to help you? Who's your supporters? Even if it's only an hour here, an hour there, or just that moral support, just to punch it over the finish line. I mean, these things are very important in the haunt world, right? I know we're super supportive of other haunts, but when your nose is to the grindstone and you're out there in the 90-degree heat, hanging bats off the ceiling and lighting on the roof and God knows what, there is a lot that you need to have support. I mean, you just have to have support, whether that just be somebody to hold the ladder or, financial support is always great, but just time. So I think, I'll be reaching out even with the scale back. I'll be reaching out to have people help me out, and my support system is great. They always come through, whether that be haunt actors that we've had in the past years, and they can come out and help me just set up for a little while, or if it's family, or if it's you helping me take down or whatever, or carry something up from a basement or an attic. Those things matter, so don't be afraid to reach out, especially the people that you care about and they care about you, because we don't want to see another haunt go to the wayside because of lack of support. So reach out to your friends, family, even the haunt community. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised who is willing to help you. Because we do not want to see another haunt leave.
No doubt. I mean, you probably have me on Saturdays here and there, especially if we're on time and ahead of the game with Voodoo. We do start our construction on August 4th. I've already sent the message out to the group chat. I just haven't decided the schedule just yet, times and whatnot, but it should be pretty opened up with my job situation. So we should have some decent hours to get stuff done during the weeks, and then weekends hopefully we're ahead of schedule. And then Saturdays I'm over in Elgin by you, so I could zip up the block after radio show and help you out if we can. So that'd be great. But all of that support system talk and tips and tricks of the trade sounds kind of like a haunter's hack. But I know you have a little bit of a different haunter's hack in mind. Do you want to lay it on the people?
Yeah, so this month's Haunter's Hack is really about how to transition into live acting. So myself and Mike, both have live actors at our haunts, but it didn't just start that way. Um, I mean, the real way that I have learned to kind of transition a haunt is you have your traditional scenic haunt where people come and look at your display. Those are great. Those are amazing. But to elevate your game a little bit more, you can have live acting, even if it's just you, the owner, in a robe out there, kind of just showing people around. That's kind of how it started for me, actually. I guest acted at Haunt 31 when I was a kid, and a lot of what I was doing, because I was doing weird hours and stuff, I'd come on a Wednesday, like whenever I could, I would go and act, right? But I was wearing a Wolfman costume, and I would go out at Haunt 31, and because of the foot traffic, it wasn't so heavy like a weekend. what I thought my job was is yes, scare people, but it was more to like show them everything, like go, show them the grand tour, kind of go through. And that's kind of how I started. And then once Greenbriar started, we didn't have live actors we've only been around for 6 years, or this will be our sixth year. 6 years? Yeah. So the first couple of years we didn't have anything. And then I said, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna dress up. I'm gonna go out there. We have a good enough foot traffic where I feel like I can do something. And then that slowly snowballed. So the Haunter's hack that I really wanted to bring up is start small. See your audience, see how it's gonna work. Um, Even if you're just kind of roaming around. You don't have to have spots per se as Voodoo does, because they are a full-blown walkthrough. We have a display with a cut through part of the display, so it kind of enables itself for some scare spots and things. But that is the way to transition into scare acting. Do it yourself, do it with your spouse, do it with your friends, do it with your family, do it with your kids, and then go from there. And my biggest part of this is feed your actors. Feed your actors. We on another episode of Voodoo, we had Michael Peters, and he was talking about how he feeds his actors. They have, they bring potluck and casseroles and all kinds of things. We do the same thing. We got to make sure that these actors are fed and there's plenty of water and other libations available for them, and that's how we keep them happy. It is such a cool come together moment when you have your friends, and other people come out to support you, the haunt, and to live act. So the Haunter's hack is get out there, start acting, and rope your friends into it. That is the Haunter's hack for this month.
That's a good one too, because I think a lot of people overlook that, and it gets so hectic in the season that it's sometimes it is better to do a potluck style. Sometimes it's easier and everybody just brings something. You have a feast together. I know here at Voodoo we've done that a few times. There's a couple of name members in our group. Julia's one of them that like acts like the mom of the group, and she'll go out and get stuff, especially because her boyfriend, my best friend Matt, he's got some allergies restrictions. So I mean, she knows what he can and can't eat, so she always makes sure there's something there for him. But in the same token, she's bringing it for the entire group to be able to dig in, and make sure everybody has a snack and is hydrated, especially because, for medical reasons too, you got to make sure that everybody is got energy and ready to go, which I guess would lead me back to Frankenfuel. I will give them another little plug over here because they're going to be sponsoring us. We have some other things on the way here, not just for the Voodoo podcast, but for Voodoo as well. I can't disclose anything just yet, but I will tell you that we are going to be working in some capacity with the Nightmare Forge. That is Tyler Firminick, who we've had on the podcast before. He and I were talking at NASCAR. We got him in to be media credentialed to cover the race with me, and we had a fun weekend, fun time. So he and I we talked Haunt World, of course, naturally, and we started hashing out a little bit of a plan coming for this fall. So I think it's going to be phenomenal. They're right around the block from us over here in Elgin too, so it's gonna be a great time. But yeah, as you said, make sure your actors are taken care of, and again, when you are acting, start small. I mean, my everybody could tell you my earliest haunt costumes before I even had like an established character like Rivets, it was nothing. It was maybe some Nike joggers and some dark Nike shoes. Like it was so bad. But hey, you work with what you've got and you build up to where you need to get to. And as long as you have the passion for it, you're going to get there. And it can be very home hauntery. It could be, you talked about walking out there with a rope. It could even be like, I hope you have clothes on underneath, but it could be your bathrobe, right? Like as long as it's something that like kind of fits the character you're going for. And like you said, if you're just kind of walking people up to your front door, or letting them know where they can and can't walk on your property, especially when it comes to home haunting. Maybe you're out there with a bowl of candy too, even on off nights that aren't Halloween. So whatever you can do, like you said, start small and see what works and what doesn't work. Some of it is trial and error. I mean, obviously you don't want it to be error in the way where, obviously don't have somebody get hurt, or don't overextend yourself either, but make sure that you can kind of assess your own property, assess your own haunt, and know your limits, I guess is what I would say. And then you can make that big jump. And if you don't have a home haunt and you're listening to this podcast, you can always just jump into professional acting as well as quote unquote professional acting. There's a lot of haunted houses out there that need the help, and you don't have to have any kind of, it sounds intimidating when they say professional acting, but you don't have to have any experience to jump on in there. You can be quite literally anybody. As long as you walk in there with your personality, somebody will work with you. Somebody will find you a spot. Somebody will show you the ropes a little bit. They'll have costumes there for you. If you haven't tried out getting your face all done up in haunt makeup, or putting on some ragged, disheveled, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, Distressed. That's the haunt word. It's been a while. It's July and it's 900 degrees outside. This has been the
Yeah.
hottest summer ever too. This is nuts. But yeah, you'll find somebody that will be able to take you under their wing, and show you a couple of the tips and tricks. So you don't have to be a professional on day one.
Yeah, to go along with that, I mean, we allow guest acting here. So at some home haunts, they'll allow you to. Obviously, you have to ask and stuff. Don't show up in costume thinking you're going to act, because we've had that before. That is a no-no. But definitely reach out to the social medias and things of home haunts in your area. Say, hey, are you guys doing any acting? If you want to start super, super small, everything is very, very flexible. That's how I got my start, and I've done a couple different ones. We've also allowed some younger generation just this last year come in and test the waters, see how they were going to do, and they did a great job. This young man was having the time of his life. He was just living on cloud nine. He was running around using our little cattle prod, and he was finding spots, and it was very, very good. So, um, I think a lot of uh, what makes people so hesitant to do it is because, like you said, it's scary. Like, oh, I'm not a pro hunter or whatever. That's okay. Just dive headfirst. Just get in there, try it, even if just one time. A lot of my cousins and stuff, we've had them come out and just do it a couple times. We had people from out of town come in. Normally we have a bonfire, and normally a lot of people like hang out by the bonfire and stuff. And they're like, you know what? I want to give that a shot. And they did, and they had a great time. So just try it wherever you fits, you sits. So get in there and try it. Try it.
I know so many people who are too afraid to go through a haunted house, and some of them work with us here at Voodoo. I've told the stories before on the podcast. I haven't had it the other way around where people are scared, or not scared of a haunted house, but are scared of acting. I'm sure there are people out there, but I feel like if you have the passion for it in the first place, you're going to love jumping in. So, I mean, obviously, you've heard from some of the various personalities that we've had on this podcast. The biggest thing that they've said, whether it's, I believe Danny Panic said the same thing as Alex Wode, they said, like, you got to have the passion and the drive for it. If you don't like doing it, don't do it, right? Don't jump in and guest act. But you kind of sometimes don't know unless you try. So give it a try. There's no
Yeah.
expectations, and if it's not for you, or you have to pivot and kind of rethink what you were going for, that's totally fine. It's sometimes it is like a trial and error, like we were talking about with other things surrounding the haunt world. But you're never gonna know unless you suit up. And I would wager to say, like, a lot of people, until it becomes a little too much of a job in and of itself, or actual work to design your costume, I think that's when some people start to fall off. But when you're just at the base level, just starting out, and you're having fun with it, I don't know too many people that jump right out of it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I think there's also levels to it. When you just start, right, there's extreme levels. Like
yeah,
there's definitely a building block. I mean, when you first start, you're doing mask only, no talking, just maybe some noises, some startle movements and things like that. Then all of a sudden you get into, full blown costume and full makeup. You're exposed, right? That's something a little bit different. And then you go into character development and things like that, and then you're working your way up through maybe a home haunt to a pro haunt to to figuring out your costume like rivets, or you have a special skill like a slider or stilt walker or something like that. They are defined levels, and I would say if you have any kind of inclination that you think you're going to enjoy it, I would just start somewhere. So put on a mask, throw on that bathrobe, and get out there.
No doubt. Well, you're going to have a couple actors on your hands in the next couple of years as you've got a 1 year old and a soon to be 1 day old as of this weekend. But I see that you've got a couple of videos of Lincoln you've been sending me. He's already acclimated to the haunt world. He's checking out the skeletons and he likes all this stuff, huh?
Yeah, we're trying to get him. We're trying to work it in. So he's got a couple of skulls that he plays with. This skeleton right behind me. A little. He We put that around him, and he's happy to play with it. And we'll just kind of keep progressing and make sure that he is ready to go.
That is awesome. Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, of course, but yeah, when they're you got to start them young, right? And yeah, I know we talked on this podcast before we were a video podcast. It feels like so long ago, but it also kind of feels like yesterday we were talking to you that Lincoln was happy when the lights were on and the show was running, and then as soon as things got shut off is when he would wake up and start crying. So he's a haunter through and through right off the bat.
Yeah, he loved the thunder and lightning and the people screaming and the shovel dragging against the ground and the sliders doing their thing and the cattle prod going off and all the pneumatics. But as soon as I turn that switch off, wide awake. So I don't know. It's in the blood. It's in the blood.
Well, that's great. Hopefully, it carries on here with baby number two. So we'll see. We'll see if you get your acting staff multiplied here.
Well, that's
I
why
guess.
I'm having children, right? I need
Right.
to I need to make sure I
Yeah.
keep this going. So that's the only reason why I wanted them.
That's at a certain point they're going to do all of your setup, and it's going to be blistering hot like it is right now. And it's going to be that meme. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. And then you're just going to be like, "That's too damn bad."
That's too damn bad. Get out there.
Well, I know you haven't had much time with all of the preparations for baby number two, and also still having a 1 year old at the same time. That I can't even imagine. But there have been some trailers for some new movies and some series that are coming out here in the haunt world. It's a big year. Of course, we talked to Chad Steckley a little while back about how he was prepping for 2025 all the way back in 2023 because it is the 50th anniversary of the movie Jaws. So he's
Oh,
going to have a Jaws themed display on his front lawn right over here in Schaumburg, right around the block from us. So we're excited to see that. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to talk to him about that on the podcast within the next couple of months as we inch closer to October. But I think there's like two shark themed movies, go figure, that are coming out this year. One is called Fear Below, and the other one's called the Bayou. That looks like more of an alligator. And the other one is the Into the Deep. So a lot of water themed movies, but there's been a couple that have come out and a couple that are about to come out. What have you gotten a chance to see anything, or what are you interested in seeing as soon as it's out?
yeah, we're waiting to see Stranger Things. Stranger Things, the first part of the last season here is coming out, I think this weekend, right? On the 25th. Is that the first
Oh,
release? I
is
think
it
it's this weekend.
is it
So
this weekend already?
we're ready to cuddle in with this baby and start him on day one with Stranger Things. So that's really what we've been looking forward to is on the horror front. I haven't really checked out any movies lately, but I have been sending Chad. I've been seeing all these different things in like Marketplace and things that would fit his theme. So I've been sending him some of these things. I don't know if he knows it's me or not because it's my actual Facebook, not the Greenbriar page.
Oh
But
yeah.
I just keep sending it to him. So I hope he's getting some good deals out there and elevating that display because I'm pretty pumped for it too. Because we are definitely going to get out this year because the haunt is going to be what it is. I'm not going to have live actors or anything, so we can possibly get out. The only thing is we got to work in that bedtime, so we'll have to see what's what. We'll have to see what's what as far as timing is concerned, or maybe I'll do a solo trip, or uh, maybe we'll just have the grandparents come over and have a date night and go check out everybody. So I'm excited to see some haunts this year. The last 2 years has been pretty rough. We saw the ones that we needed to, but that's always the problem is going to see the haunts. I know you do it all, but I don't know how you do it. I know last year you took off, so it was easier, but yeah, yeah, I'm excited for that. But as far as movies are concerned, I have not seen anything that sparked my interest. What else did you have on your list? Maybe I can get some ideas.
Well, I like the looks of this new one coming out called Together with not James Franco, Dave Franco, and Allison Brie. I believe they're married in real life. I always get that wrong though, but I'm pretty sure they're married in real life. Allison Brie was from Community. If anybody's watched Community, I loved that show. Earlier seasons, later on it kind of tapered off, but uh, it's a really weird one where it's like they move into this new house and then all of a sudden, like every time they go to kiss each other or something like that, like they're getting stuck to each other, and like like I don't know if they're like becoming one person and getting possessed or whatever. But it looks interesting and like a whole new type of concept. So I'm intrigued on that one. I feel like the last scary movie I really got a chance to see was probably the most recent Evil Dead that came out. So it's been a while since I've seen anything horror. I've kept up with kind of what's in the news as far as horror. Sinners, I heard, was a really good one, and I'm a big fan of both
Yeah,
Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld. I think they're both great. Unfortunately, Haley Steinfeld, she's not my wife. She got married to Josh
you're
Allen. So
you're too late. Too late, man.
I
Too
was so
late.
close. I was so close. I
I
promise.
know. I know. I'm very interested in Sinners. I think I want to see it. I just got to make some time. I want to see it. It looked really good. Um, that one does pique my interest. But I totally forgot about it. Thanks for reminding me.
Yes, yeah. There was another Final Destination that came out. I'm not super into those. I think they're a little drawn out, but I guess, maybe the action scenes are good. There was an Until Dawn movie that got released, and for a while I was like, is that the same as the video game? I never played the video game, but ironically enough, and I don't do this a whole lot, I watched somebody else on YouTube play the game, and I was like, this looks like something I would get. I, of course, don't have time to sit down and actually play video games. I wish I did, but I really got wrapped up into like the storyline of that game, and I thought it was really cool. So that would be one that I would go back and check out as well. As far as you were talking about Stranger Things, November 26th is
Is that when the
the
first one is?
is that when that's when the first one is. So it's
Um,
November 26th is going to be the first four chapters, and then Christmas, December 25th, is going to be
I know what it
chapters
is.
5 through 8. Oh no, excuse me. Chapters 4, 5, 6, and 7. 8 will be on New Year's Eve.
Yes,
So
it's Happy Gilmore. Sorry, not horror.
oh, I'm
Not.
I'm in for that too though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My bad. I'm getting it all mixed up here. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's okay. I'm in for Happy Gilmore, man. That Happy Gilmore 2 is gonna look it looks pretty good. All after all these years, that'll be great. But also, what else is coming out this weekend is Fantastic Four. I know a lot of people are souped up for that one. I'm a couple Marvel movies behind. In fact, I was just watching Ironheart since it's accessible. It's pretty good. Finally got a Chicago superhero. But Chicago needs to chill because like they get one superhero and they start acting up. I saw like 3 billboards. It's like, all right, like it's okay. Like it's not the original Iron Man. It's not Captain America. It's good. Don't get me wrong. The acting's all right too. But I mean, I didn't even get into this character in the second Black Panther movie. I was like, yeah, she's there. Like, yeah, but I don't know that one, and I can't get into what was the other one that came out that I missed? Oh, I missed Thunderbolts. The new Superman doesn't look good to me either, and I've
Yeah,
heard very
no,
mixed
what's
reviews.
Cahill or Carville? What's the new Superman or what's
Well,
his
it used to be Henry Cavill, but I don't know who this new guy
who's
is.
yeah, they switched. I
Yeah.
don't I don't
It's directed by James Gunn too, and it's like so he's a great director. He did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I like a lot of his stuff, and I don't know though, like the coming attractions didn't wow me, and the fact that
mm,
we're restarting again, it's like somebody hit the snooze button for me. Like, can we just get a coherent super world? And then even with Marvel, it's like, all right, you guys did the thing. Great job. Bravo. Endgame. Phenomenal. Even, the Spider-Man that came out
yeah.
after that. And now with the whole multiverse thing, it's like, yep, I can already see they're going to bring them all back. Cash
Yep.
cows. Here they come. Like, let them, let their characters die in peace. Like, let the storyline have an end. And then, it means more when they stay dead? Ah,
I agree. I don't know how anybody watches all of them. There is so many.
yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. And DC's got to get together. DC's got to get together. I don't know what
What are we doing?
they keep trying. They keep trying and they're just not doing well. So,
They haven't had anything out of the like
Dark
out
Knight,
of yes, yeah, since the Dark Knight
Dark
trilogy.
Knight era. Like that was it.
That was the peak, and everything after that has been at best okay, watchable, but yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
stay in the horror realm.
Yeah. Back
That's
back
what we
to the
want.
horror realm.
Yeah. In fact, when I recorded the first interview with Mike Cassavant of Frankenfuel, it was the exact day. So this has been a while now since in between interviews, but a little behind the scenes here. That was the very day that it was announced that uh, Universal will be moving into Chicago by 2027, I believe. So, of course, the Horror Unleashed, I believe it's Horror Unleashed, is
Yes.
is opening up this August in Las Vegas. No, yeah, Las Vegas. And before day one of them even being open, of course, the tickets are mostly sold out and they're projecting really good numbers. And they said, you know what, might as well also announce the Chicago one. So we're getting a year round horror experience here on the streets of Chicago.
Yeah. I actually, so as soon as I saw it, I was obviously pumped. So I Google mapped the building, the address,
I did
everything.
too.
Yeah, yeah. Just to see how big it was and like what they could possibly do. So it's a multi-level building. I mean, I don't know how many stories it is, but I think it's like 7 or 8 stories tall. So I don't know what's exactly going to be in there. I know they said I'm assuming a couple of different haunted houses or haunted attractions that will be in there, bars, lounges, obviously a gift shop, um,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure what else. So I'm excited to see it. I do know that there has been some speculation that it's all kind of dependent on the numbers for Vegas if they can maintain them.
Okay.
So go to Vegas. Everybody go to Vegas so that we
Yeah.
get one here in Chicago.
Yeah, because I wonder if so. I remember when I was little and the Legoland opened up here in the streets of Woodfield in Schaumburg, and it was the hot commodity for like a couple of years, and then it kind of died down. And I'm sure they still get a whole lot of foot traffic, but like, you got to stay fresh. Now, with it being Universal and their movies coming out and their themes changing all the time, as long as they're going to put the effort in to change things up and even your regular haunted houses change things up here as well. However, they're not year round like this is going to be for Universal, which if they can pull it off, and I have all the faith in the world with it being a company like Universal Studios that they can do that. But if they can pull it off, um, this is really going to change the haunt landscape. And I was talking a little bit with Chris Sarofsky about that, about how like how are they going to get ranked along with any kind of haunted houses? I really haven't even asked Chris the question yet, but like I'm sure it's swirling around in everybody's minds is like are they going to get ranked with the rest of the haunted houses come haunt season because they're not really, but they are. Like, are they a separate category?
Yeah,
They're part of your world. You got to include them, right? But they're just going to be there all year. And like you said, do they keep the numbers up in order to really be year round? Of course, I was looking at how far they're going to be from the 78, which is probably going to be the new home of the Chicago Fire. There's no news about it, but I imagine if the Chicago Fire moved there, the Chicago Stars FC, the women's soccer team, would move there, and it would be the soccer hub for Chicago. The Bears will be moving out of Soldier Field probably and coming to Arlington Heights. And then you've got, of course, room per what the city has said to also build a baseball stadium over there. And the White Sox under Jerry Reinsdorf have explained that they want to move to the 78. However, they had different plans that didn't involve a soccer field or a soccer stadium. And like I said, the city said it fits both. It could fit both. If the baseball side of things wants to limit their entertainment district, is what all these stadiums are going for now, is to have something around there for you to do. But I mean, a whole nother stadium, I'm sure they're not going to scoff at. But now we'll have to see if that White Sox team is under Justin Ishbia and that ownership wants to still move to the 78. I don't think there's anything wrong with the White Sox park right now. I know people say you step off a couple blocks and you're in a bad territory, bad neighborhood, but the area is changing. I mean, sure, you're going to have your scummy parts anywhere, but I've never had a problem, going to games or getting around there and stuff like that. It's just, yeah, can they build up a little bit more around it? Sure, but is it going to sacrifice parking? Because then this suburbanite is going to be a little upset. But yeah, I mean, both of those stadiums being right there and being right on the river, and then I looked at the zip up to what would be Universal. I mean, listen, I'll admit it. Most of my generation, most of our voodoo crew is going. All right, we can go to these haunted houses or these sporting events, and then where's the nearest casino or bar afterwards? And here I am going.
right.
Okay, I could go to these events and see these games, whether it's as a fan or as press. And where's the nearest haunted house after, especially like if Universal Terror is going to be
Sure.
year round here. So that would be cool. Looks like it's going to be near or actually on Goose Island. So that's for all your bar drinkers over there. There'll be some nightlife over there to add to that whole experience, I guess.
Yeah, I'm very curious on how they're gonna get this in year round. I mean, are they? It's a large building, so I don't know if they're planning on doing. My idea would have been like a movie theater within it that always plays the horror movies and things to keep it kind of going. Um, but like Universal, like horror nights, right? Um, they have all of those haunted houses, and if I'm being honest, I've never been, but I've watched a lot of videos. I know it's super cool. But I really don't think those exactly stack up to the talent pool that we have here in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area. I mean, you put those haunted houses against what we have currently, and I don't think they stack up. They should be in a league of their own because of the cash cow that is Universal, but I don't know. I don't know. Well, we're gonna have to see. I mean, that would be awesome if we had a top tier haunted house come into the area, or they have 5 or 6 haunted attractions. Each floor is a different one that they're constantly rotating and working on. That would be awesome. But I don't know what the business model looks like. I guess there's going to be more to come, and I'm just hoping that they stick with it and Las Vegas is a success. That one's more like a midway style, so it's spread out further, like almost like a small park. This one is going to be a singular building with multiple floors, so it's what they do within it that I think is really going to matter. Can they sustain long term with uh, getting attendance into the building? So what they do with it, and then also how good they execute, because there's a lot of talent around this area for sure.
No doubt. I hope it doesn't deter from people going to the talent that's already in this area just because they see the bright lights and they see the big names that come with Universal. That's kind of why I made the Legoland analogy, is you
Yes.
mentioned the one in Vegas being a little bit more spread out and like a theme park type of thing that we've seen with some other haunts out of state. It sounds like there is one coming to Illinois as well. I think I just sent the link to you the other day. That
Yeah.
was one that completely was not even on my radar. I'll have to pull it up here in just a second, but it sounds like, like the Legoland here in Schaumburg, it's not going to be like a whole theme park. It's going to be a building, although it still should have a bunch of haunted houses in there. I love the movie idea, and I I I don't know if I should say this because I don't want them to steal my idea, but I do want to see it happen. Is I think with all the rich history that you have here in Chicago with Svengoolie and with just the horror community that's already here, I feel like, yeah, like you said, there should be like a movie area, but not necessarily Universal movies. Now, maybe, copyright and getting the rights to some of these movies would be tough. But like if you could do something with Svengoolie and have like
So a residency.
yeah, what's is it Mystery Theater 3000 or
Yeah.
what's
Like
that
a
one show?
uh,
I can't remember. Yeah, I think that's what it is the name of it. But
theater.
where
Yeah.
they do the rewatch, or even Svengoolie does the rewatch. I mean, that would be phenomenal if you could get like a live audience in there to rewatch a like classic horror movie. That'd be ideal. The other one that I just wanted to make mention of is American Nightmare Scream Park is going to be open this fall 2025. It's actually on the same grounds as Richardson's Adventure Farm. So I've been there when they cut the different decal or the different logos into their cornfield. Actually, back in 2015, it was a Stanley Cup themed cutout into the cornfields, and I believe they use like drone technology and like mapping to make sure they cut the right
Yeah.
stalks out and stuff like that. But it looks like they're going to be starting up on what will be a Scream Park, which will be the first Scream Park that I know of in Illinois. I don't know of too many others. I mean, I know this past year was the first year for Evil Intentions at their new location, which it's escaping me at the moment of what they're called.
Hollow. Something hollow. Forsaken
Forsaken
Hollow.
Hollow, yeah.
Yep.
So that's going to be a little bit more of a I wouldn't even really consider that one a Scream Park though, because like it's Evil Intentions is the haunted house, and then you're going to have a couple other attractions that aren't exactly haunted houses, but there's going to be a lot to do. It's an immersive environment. But American Nightmare Scream Park, their first post was May 18th. They said, "Where it all begins, coming fall 2025, Chicagoland's first and only Scream Park, haunted corn maze, 5 different themed haunted attractions, and a huge midway full of entertainment." So I mean, listen, Richardson's Adventure Farm, I was not familiar with your game. I'm very sorry because I thought you guys were just very family friendly and you were just a destination where they have like zip lines and stuff there. But looks to me like they know what a midway is and they know what the haunt world is and they're coming. So that's exciting. But going back to the Universal thing, yeah, we'll have to see if they can do something like that and show some movies and also keep people locked in year round. And we've actually had on the podcast Dave and Aubrey of Horror Props. They were the ones that told us that they went to Hollywood Horror Nights down at Universal, and they said that the actual haunted houses were incredible. So we'll see if that same acting is implored and that same set designery is implored when they come here to Chicago. I know that they went down there with Forsaken Hollow and Evil Intentions, so I'm also starting to wonder if that's maybe a reason why Universal is looking at Chicago. Maybe they were already looking at Chicago already, but maybe they were talking to their friends over here in Chicago and going, it sounds like a pretty good place to bring their shop and open things up. So either way, I think it's going to be good for the haunt world and the haunt community here. But yeah, like you said, we'll have to see how it stacks up with the talent that we already have here in the Chicagoland area. Because I'd venture to say, and I know I'll ruffle some feathers here with some of our friends out of state, I would say Chicagoland is the best area for haunted houses and haunts just in general. Nobody else has the Chicago Haunt Builders on top of the amazing pro haunt community that we have.
I would agree. I am very excited to see it. I can't wait to see it. I think Universal is going to bring a lot. They're going to bring a lot of money into the area for this. So a lot. I'm just excited. I'm excited, but we got to wait a couple years for it, and we'll see. That whole area looks like it's going to develop within the next 3 to 5 years. So I'm excited for that as well. And as far as the Richardsons, I did not know that was happening at all until you sent me that post. I was like, what? But to link it back to the Haunter's Hack, a little uh, tie in here, that would be a great spot to start an acting career. A first year haunt would be a great spot. So if you live in the area where that's going to be, that would be a cool spot to try to get in. So
No doubt. Yeah, definitely put your hat in the ring for that and see what comes of it because we love new haunts that bring jobs and bring opportunities for people and yeah, like you said, we'll see how it goes. I know you've got to get back to some fatherly duties. I don't want to keep you too long, but what is what is one thing that you're hoping for, tangible or intangible, for this 2025 season as we approach August and beyond?
well, I want to make sure that my biggest fear is disappointing people, right? We've been going strong here for 5 years. We've our foot traffic has expanded exponentially every single year. The last thing I want to do is take a step back, but it's the right thing to do for myself and my family. And I feel like our supporters will, understand. And we're going to bring that heat in 2026 for sure. So, but for this year, I want to have a successful season, make sure everything goes up without a hitch. And I would like to see a lot of haunts this year. That's really the goal. A couple nights and just map it out, probably use your maps and get out there and see some people's stuff, see the talent, get ideas, talk with these folks, because that's something that is always lacking. So I really want to make sure that we connect with the Chicago Haunt Builders and get out there and see some stuff.
Sweet. That sounds like a an awesome plan. Let's hope you get some sleep being a dad and then also trying to run around and do that. I can't even imagine because I don't get sleep and I run around and I do all that. So, other than the kids part, but yeah. So yeah, that'll be the challenge for you. I'm super excited to get to see you and get this stuff kind of going. And I think one thing for us is I would agree. I don't like to disappoint people. So my biggest thing about 2025 is just going to be, of course, enjoying the season. And the way that we do that is getting the work done and being on our game, being on our shit, basically, for lack of a better word, and making sure that the work is done so we can reap the rewards and the benefits and enjoy ourselves. And then, of course, uh, that all includes. When I say that, I include meaning like if we're on track with building, that means I'll get to go out and guest act with anybody from Voodoo that wants to come to some of the professional haunts or some of the other home haunts and come guest act. So I'm looking forward to that and just seeing everybody. So we're here in August, man, and well, it's July right now. When you're listening to this, it's probably almost August at this point. We have a big hockey game coming up this weekend, the 26th of July. So if you're I don't even know if I'm going to get this episode out beforehand to tell you guys the truth, but if you are listening to this beforehand, come on out. Timbercrest Park in Schaumburg, Illinois, 116 Beach Drive. It's at 7 p.m. Caleb of Hell's Gate Haunted House will be doing an intermission show. He will be juggling fire. And don't tell the village because I don't know if that's allowed. I know that fireworks are not allowed. And of course, we don't shoot off fireworks. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean by that? But there will be announcers and music, and it is USA versus Canada because of the whole, we had four nations face off, and it's going into the Olympics in 2026, which will be in Milan, Italy. I'm really hoping I can go to that. I might be saving up. That'll be kind of a bucket list item. I've never been to the Olympics, and I do want to go back to Italy, so it feels like it's a win-win for me. So if I can make that happen, but what I will say is get some rest because I know you have had quite the week. Car breaking down, air conditioner breaking down when it's been 90 degrees this entire summer, new baby on the way, and a 1 year old that is busy adjusting all of your skeleton's limbs out there. So yeah, enjoy, and we hope to see you soon, my man.
Yep. Thanks everyone.
Awesome. We will see you guys in the August episode. And man, is it going to snowball right into the season. So expect me to start, I hope, churning these things out pretty quick. But now that we got the video pod, whew, this is going to be a challenge for you, boy. Maybe we do some lives. I don't know. I've been against some of the lives because I like to have things a little bit edited and planned out. But maybe if we do a couple of lives towards the season on location, hint, hint, maybe a couple places. I don't know. We'll have to see the schematics of that and how that shakes out. So that'll be good. But we will see you guys in August. See ya.
See ya.